I'm the Doctor.
I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey, the constellation of Exterminating. When I say Rat.
Time and relative dimension in space.
It means life.
Greetings, humans, Daleks, Time Lords, and timeless children. You are listening to Exterminating Doctor Who.
This is the show on Utter Radio where we take unpopular episodes of Doctor Who and debate whether they're really all that bad.
With your hosts, Aidan, Gula.
And me, George Ellis.
And in today's episode, we are talking about The Timeless Child and Series 13 Rumours.
Yeah, it's a bit different to our usual
Yes.
shindig,
But it's like, if we've had... Well, this is the final one of our series. This is our series finale.
we are doing Series 2. Please come back for that.
Yes, remember that. But this is our series finale. And if we had any series arc across our podcast series, it would be The Timeless Child.
It paid us a couple of visits.
Yes, it's
every
been an
time we kicked it
ongoing-
out the door.
It's been an ongoing thread through many episodes.
It's like a crack in time, that kind of thing.
Yes.
I'm trying to reference a good kind of story arc.
I was about to go, or The Vault. That wasn't a great story arc.
It wasn't. It was.
It's
I mean,
like...
let's name a Jodie Whittaker story arc. Timeless Child.
It's finally, in our series finale, we are going to discuss it a little more because for you, it's always been an idea. It's always been, this thing's happened.
I've had it. I've seen, I've read stuff about it online before I'd even spoken to you, and then you've described it to me. So I've always had this idea of what it is.
You've always heard about the Timeless Child, like this big mystery.
And from what I've heard from you, it was like the worst thing ever. And I was like, okay, it sounds like the worst thing ever, but is it really all that bad? And what have I done? I've decided to, I watched The Timeless Child. So you got Ascension of the Cyberman and The Timeless Children. Is that the name of it?
Yes.
So I watched those two. But to make sure I kind of fully understood Jodie Whittaker's arc, I also watched Spyfall
Part 1 and 2.
So I watched 4 of those episodes in about 2 days. And I can say for certain, after watching all that, my conclusion with The Timeless Child is it is the worst thing ever.
Yes.
I've been in a terrible mood and I've been taking it out on people for the past 2 days.
Because of it.
Yeah.
It is like, watching those 4 episodes is like Guantanamo Bay torture.
I just... And people have been like, are you okay, George? I'm like, I am fine.
But Doctor Who isn't, okay?
And that's... We'll go into more detail why I believe it is so terrible. And Aidan undersold it for me. He was like, oh, it's bad, it's terrible, it's all this. After seeing it, it's so much worse.
Yeah. That's the reaction I was hoping for. Because I knew you wouldn't watch it and go, you know what, Aidan, this is actually good. I knew that was not even a possibility. No. But it was either you were going to go, God, this is as bad as you said it says it was. Or you were just going to go, this is so much worse. And you were just...
Having someone explain it to you, they try and tell you how bad it is, but they'll also...
dilute it through my own mind.
Yes, you'll just say it how you've interpreted it. But by watching it outright and watching the Masters attempt at a PowerPoint presentation on a green screen, it was terrible. And it was the worst. And what is the most important thing for a character? Making them from this character we know into someone who has no parents and is completely unknown, and then is adopted and tortured and killed multiple times. That is how you set up the Time Lords, I think. You make them a race of murderers.
It's just well, we're jumping straight in with it before as I tease what we've got to come later on. We are going to be talking about Timeless Child, and that will be a general thread throughout every single episode that we've done. We have a 10-minute section at the end where we do what we do to fix this, and that's essentially what we're going to do about Doctor Who as a whole.
Yep.
So that's going to be another ongoing theme for this episode. And then we have also got a very interesting article that I found that I wanted to read. So I think that it's very interesting to see.
We are branching into audiobook territory here, so
yes. So I don't know how long
buckle
I don't know how long that will take, but we can do that and just discuss what we think about it, because I think it was it's quite interesting to see how certain news outlets and media were very, very positive about the era when it began, and now are basically like, so it's quite interesting to see that. So I did want to read that article. And then we have...
just a heads up, everyone, I haven't actually seen these articles or any of this news, so I'm discovering it or hearing about it for the first time with you folks at home.
Yes. And we have some random rumours about plot stuff for Series 13 and who's going to be playing the 14th Doctor.
Oh,
And we also have some filming pictures at the end. Warning about the the rumours, especially the casting rumours.
take them all with a grain of salt.
They are,
obviously.
yes, I don't believe any of them. And
Well,
they are the most random list of names you will ever see in your life.
Is Warwick Davis one of the choices? I feel
No.
like after the stuff the feud you and Warwick Davis have, he should play the next Doctor just to
Yes.
spite
Oh, this
you.
is great. We can reference all our previous episodes to tie it all together,
Yeah.
can't we? This is great.
This is
So,
a
yeah.
proper finale here. It's like what's a finale? What should a finale do? Tie it all together, give you a nice, satisfying ending. What shouldn't it do? What Line of Duty did.
What Line of Duty did, what Game of Thrones did,
Yeah.
or what Doctor Who did.
Yeah. Well, the
And-
middle of the Star Wars sequels did, and then the end of the Star Wars
Yeah,
sequels.
the Timeless Child is the Last Jedi of Doctor Who.
Yeah, but with The Last Jedi, although I disagree with the choice, it still kind of flows. Like, it's like, this could have happened, it shouldn't have happened, it should never have been an option. But it kind of goes with it.
And also, actually, the difference I'd say is that by the end of The Last Jedi, at least I came away from it going, oh, they'll fix it in the next film.
Yes, they didn't, but yes.
Well,
Well,
you
it-
tried to.
It
but-
was, well, they shouldn't have had to fix it because their fixing was just being like, oh, no, let's just rub all this out and paint over it with crayons. That's basically what it was.
Yes.
But at least they had that opportunity. Whereas with Doctor Who,
I have no faith that they're ever going to fix this.
no. And
Though one of our rumours might suggest that they are, but who knows?
okay, Ooh.
We'll get on to them shortly. So, yeah, now that you've seen The Timeless Child,
Damn, it's children.
yeah, but I mean The Timeless Child as a plot
Yes.
across the
Well,
four.
I've been seeing the Timeless Child for like 12 series, ain't I?
Yeah, it's true. We've been seeing it for 57 years. No, we haven't. So in either one phrase or sound, can you just express
How about that?
how you feel about it to me? Yes. Yes,
It's last night when I was sending Aidan like the messages when I'm watching it.
as we always do.
Yes, I was there. Usually, I try to pick up on something positive. I just couldn't with these episodes at all. And also, at some point, I had got to the point where I was so angry, I was just deflated. Like, what is the point of watching any more Doctor
Yeah,
Who?
it got to a point where I wasn't sure if you were still watching it because the videos just weren't coming through anymore.
I was,
So then,
but I was
so then
just sitting there like
sent
this.
you. It was by the end of of Timeless Children. I sent you that message, then saying, "Have you seen that bit where she lets the old guy kill herself?" And literally, as I pressed send, a message came through from you. You going, "She just let this guy kill himself."
And the worst. Yeah, one thing I love the Doctor for, it's her ability to just let people die constantly and often being an active participant in their deaths.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's just. It was like I have.
The Timeless Child as a concept is a terrible idea, and it's done badly. But everything else surrounding this in these episodes is it's as bad. Not worse, because the Timeless Child is the worst thing ever created, but it's as bad. And it's like, was anything thought through? Obviously, we're talking about the Timeless Child here, so we'd kind of keep off the episodic things. But can they? It's like.
But we did say just when we were saying, I was saying to you, we can just express our episode to episode frustrations before the recordings. We're going to focus on the
yes.
overarching plot here. But we did say it managed to mess up the Doctor, the Master, River Song, the Cybermen. It was like the Time Lords, Gallifrey. It was Omega, Rassilon.
It's like
It
if
was
you gave them anything, it was like, okay, each one of these ideas is a golf ball, and each time they ate them.
Yes.
Like, that's not even on the cards for Snub Golf.
No.
But they somehow managed to do that.
Yes. It just doesn't fit in Doctor Who
It's not at all.
at all
Nope.
anywhere, because it was like, yeah, but if you do that, then that doesn't make sense.
And they didn't even commit to it. That's the thing.
Yes.
They didn't even commit to the idea of the Timeless Child. It was, okay, you're committing to this idea that's going to completely retcon and ruin all of Doctor Who. But you haven't even thought it through in that sense. It's just, it's obvious that it was added to shake it up for the sake of shaking up. And if it was trying to be added as a good reason and they think they thought it through, they did like a bit of research, because every single thing that's happened in Doctor Who is somehow ruined by the Timeless Child being a thing. River Song. Like, they ruined River Song, a completely separate character who's not even alive anymore in the canon, and they somehow managed to ruin the entire character by making the Doctor the Timeless Child. I'm impressed. I honestly am,
Yes.
to be
For
honest.
those who are like, what do you mean it messed up River Song? Because people would say that. People say,
Aidan told me about this yesterday. I forgot about
yeah,
this.
he would.
So-
Some people wouldn't make that connection. For example, the reason that River Song can regenerate, as we talked about in Let's Kill Hitler, referencing another previous episode,
Right.
is because she was conceived on the TARDIS,
Mm-hmm.
which means she was exposed to the time vortex, which is how it was said.
It's how
Ooh.
the Time Lords get their things.
Yeah, I think it was said 50 years ago
Was it?
that the Time Lords got the
No,
power
but
of
Aidan,
regeneration.
yesterday I was
from-
told that Time Lords get regeneration by just taking some blood
Yes.
and putting them in themselves.
But the idea was that Time Lords got the ability to regenerate from exposure to the time vortex. Sure.
Yes.
By the Timeless Child being a thing, that means the Time Lords basically just injected the ability to regenerate across their entire species, and now they can all regenerate. But how does that explain River Song's ability to regenerate? She wasn't injected. She doesn't come from Time Lords.
Well, I know what they'll say. It's like in the next episode, it'll be like, "Oh, River Song went to the doctors one day, and they went, oi."
Oh, damn.
Oh, come on, that's
It's
like
just
the way
noth-
they'll do it.
It's just... And then the Cybermen. You can't get into a Cyberman suit. The Cybermen don't want to upgrade to fully robot. That has never been a thing.
That is the, like, if you, Cyberman, okay, cyber species, cyber and organic. That is the point.
Yes.
They're not
They are
cyber
not-
robots. They're not just cyber. They're not
best,
cyber.
the best
cyber.
thing about the Cybermen is that they aren't generic robots.
It's what we've spoken about this before in a previous episode. The body horror thing.
Nightmare in Silver.
Exactly. The most important thing for the Cybermen and what elevates it above every other kind of robot, and it's one of my favorite Doctor Who villains, is the body horror element and it being part human. That's what makes it scary. So the moment you're like, actually, the Cybermen want to just be robots, it's like, so they're just drones now.
Yeah.
Every
Every single thing that made the Cybermen is tossed out the window.
single thing that makes anything is tossed out the window.
Mm.
I'm like messing up the Cyberman would be the thing is, messing up the Cyberman like this in such a sense would be terrible and it'd be unforgivable. And I'd be really annoyed about it. But because they mess up the Doctor as well, it's overshadowed.
Yeah, and you sort of forget the Cybermen
Yeah.
are even in it because you're so preoccupied by something else.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the Master taking the dominant force. But I don't really want to call him the Master because I think he isn't he's the least mastery Master we've ever seen.
I don't get now he's a fantastic actor. He really is. What's his name again? I completely forgot.
Sacha Dhawan.
Sacha Dhawan is a fantastic actor. He really is. I really like him. But what happened between getting the script or something where he's playing the Master like John Sim did in The End of Time, one of our previous
And
episodes?
it's not even like just the whole of End of Time. It's essentially just End of Time Part 1.
Yeah, where he's eating the hamburgers and the chips and all that.
Yeah, and he's...
It's. I look at him, Sacha Dhawan playing the Master, and I think that's the only possible option that he's derived his Master from, and that's the wrong choice. And even so, the John Sims hamburger Master is explained in universe
Because he's the product of resurrection.
Yes,
So it's like...
and witchcraft
you
and all
would
that.
be a bit crazy and mental after
Yeah,
that.
but
Whereas...
he kind of figures himself out and then becomes Missy, and then
And then Sacha Dhawan comes along, reverses Mishi. That was Michelle Gomez and Missy combined in
no,
one.
I
there.
like it, Missy.
He reverses Mishy's entire character arc, and just doesn't appear as the Master whatsoever. We were saying this,
Like the Master, like the way he writes the Master, like Sacha Dhawan's Master, reverses Missy's character arc, but the way he writes the Doctor reverses Missy's character arc.
Yeah,
Because when the Master first appears, we'll quickly power through this. When the Master first appears, the Doctor's really angry and is like, you fiend. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, but you were friends like the last time you met. There's nothing happened in between. Why is the Master now insane? And why is the Master saying stuff like, I was never good? And I'm like,
literally 2 series ago.
I can. That's like you're in a police interview. The suspect says, I've never done that, and then you just get out a picture of them doing something, and it's like
exactly. It's like that.
I've never had any coffee. You're holding some coffee. It's like it is. It just makes me really.
Yeah, but again, the master's like we've said this so many times over the past few days, but just like the master has always been menacing and scheming. They're the best two words to describe the master. The master has never, bar that one appearance in the end of time,
Which is explained.
done the whole crazy woo thing.
And
that
even
has
though
never been the master.
Sacha Dhawan's interpretation is more crazy.
Yeah.
I do not understand whose decision it was to do that, because it doesn't make sense for the character as an overall story. So if you were bringing this character back after 10 years, all of a sudden, it wouldn't work. But the fact you're bringing it back after having the master do a character arc where they become good and sacrifice themselves, it makes even less sense for the master to be this kind of a lunatic. It just doesn't work, and they shouldn't have brought him back in that sense.
No.
Okay, that's enough of the master.
Yes. And that is maybe enough of our ramble
I will agree with you there.
about the timeless child. But the thing is, people out there, hello everybody, all three of you out there, you can say,
Yeah.
well, it's all well and good you saying you don't like this and that you think it's all stupid. But what do you think they should do instead then? Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that was very. That's what we're here. That was very That was
Yes.
very kind of Eighth
If I
Doctor. And the Doctor, but probably not the one you're expecting. I like that.
Yes.
Right now we're standing in the corner of the room looking all cool. Just picture that if you're listening on audio. Otherwise, you're just staring at our mugs. Sorry.
Yes. If I just skip over this article for a moment and scroll down to these random rumours.
Wait, do I need to scroll down as well?
Do you want to do the same? You don't have to, but you can do.
Where are we going? He's giving me a laptop here, and I don't know where
Page
everything takes
7.
me.
Right. There's a rumour that the next series is going to develop the Timeless Child further. And it is going to reveal that it is not the Doctor, but it is the Master instead.
Okay, that's better.
It still doesn't work, because
No.
like we said about River Song, it still doesn't work. But I'd prefer it.
It shouldn't be a thing in the first place.
No.
Because by making... It just doesn't work. Because what it does is it ruins the creation of the Time Lords. And it ruins the Time Vortex thing in River Song. They'll need to explain the River Song thing. If they're going to go down this route firmly and fully, you need to explain the River Song thing. But I will say it being the Master is better than it being the Doctor. Because it being the Master, we've had the Time Lords proper mess with the Master before. So them doing this kind of thing isn't kind of out there, but I don't really feel comfortable with the original Time Lords doing this kind of thing, when we know Time Lords really became kind of evil during the Time War and afterwards, and that's when they did the terrible stuff to the Master. So even then...
I still don't like it, but I will... It's one of those things, if they're gonna
It's the lesser evil.
If they're gonna go full in with the Timeless Child, I would prefer this, but I still don't like it. Apparently, this is another rumour, but I haven't written it down here because it doesn't seem to be very backed up by anything. But apparently somebody overheard when they were filming, somebody said they were acting out, and obviously you can hear the actors and stuff. Apparently they overheard a scene where somebody says to the Doctor, "You are not the Doctor, you have always been the Timeless Child," which doesn't really work with that rumour there, but I don't know where they're going with this. You
are not the Doctor.
You have always been the Timeless Child.
There's no better way of saying go f*** yourselves to every single one of the fans out. But that is... The Doctor... It doesn't work. You're not giving us a revelation of who the Doctor's parents are and making her have these kind of evil parents and she's fighting against that. That's when you can do that kind of thing, fighting against what you're meant to be. But you don't ever add this kind of thing and say you're never what you want to be. That's the worst kind of message to send out there. You're not the Doctor. You're not this good person. You're this terrible, just bland child. And it ruins the Doctor's character.
It's two messages that it gives off there. It's like you just said, it's basically, by a line like that, if that is true, that line is genuinely going to be in Series 13.
Which remember, everything grain of salt.
Yeah, everything. If you don't want to believe...
lump of salt.
If you don't want to believe anything in any of the rumours in this video, that is completely fine.
Yeah, we just need to address them,
Yes.
just in case.
But it gives you... The Timeless Child gives you two messages, and that's what's fundamentally wrong with it. A, it gives you the Ray message that you can't be successful unless you come from success, essentially. It's
which
like
is-
unless you're the Doctor, always in our mind was just a nobody. He was just a renegade Time Lord who just disagreed with their ways and then
and fought back.
and fled Gallifrey.
And
that's completely
that's a beautiful story. I love
Exactly.
that so much.
That's
'cause it-
completely fine. But if you then say, no, the Doctor was always destined to be this great thing, it's like,
we've
how
had
ca-
that
how
done
can-
before, and we've had that kind of thing done better, way better. But it's
but
like
but
it
I
doesn't
don't want it to be
work.
done better
No.
because it's a stupid idea and
It
I
is.
hate it.
It is. I agree with you. But like it's just it's not
It's like
right for Doctor Who.
It's like the problem with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films when they say you were
Yes.
the only person who could have become Spider-Man because of the DNA that his dad used. It's like, no. The whole joy of Peter Parker is that he's a random kid who gets bitten and does this great noble
Great
thing.
power comes with
It's
great
like-
responsibility. The whole point is he does it is because he's been given this great power and he believes that he needs to do something with
It's
that.
like Batman always. It's like Batman being born and his dad going, "Here's a Batman suit. You're going to wear this one day." It's like, what's the point? That's what the time.
I don't. I was gonna. Let's not get me started on Batman because we'll be here for like half an hour if you let me do that.
Exactly.
But
But
is.
it's just that's what the
I
timeless
agree with you.
child
I agree with
achieves.
you with it being. You should. I dislike the destiny of this character being this thing they've always meant to be. The only instance I'm okay with it is with Anakin Skywalker, because it really because it with Anakin Skywalker and with Star Wars, it is all built around that idea, and it all comes back to it, and it all flows perfectly from it. And they're not saying Anakin Skywalker is the birth of the Force because he isn't. He's just someone who's he's got a high midichlorian count. That's what he's got. But it all builds around that idea, and nothing fights that because obviously Lucasfilm have a story department where it's all about making sure the canon flows and it all fits.
Which we've said Doctor Who desperately
Needs after this. My word, does it need it? But it basically the idea with in Star Wars, it doesn't fight itself. It's like we know what we are, we know who these characters are. We just build on that. We don't try and throw stuff out the window unless you're the sequels. But it's good and it works. So Anakin Skywalker works in that sense because he's not the ultimate.
But even still, it's not.
Yes.
It doesn't black and white say he is the chosen one.
Yes.
It's
I believe he. Okay,
it's-
you are right.
do
Actually,
you know,
I believe he
it's
is.
going. He's the chosen one. But then Yoda basically goes, might not be. It's like
Okay, yeah.
that's what makes that special because it's like, is he the chosen one? It's like you
yeah.
can believe, yes, he is. But with something like this, it says the Doctor is the only person to do this, and it just,
And also, it completely counteracts everything previously. So it's even. So there's a second problem there.
yeah. But it's what was I saying? By saying the Doctor is the only person who could have ever done this, it just ruins everything that we've ever loved about them. We just like this bloke just traveling, madman in a box, traveling around, just fixing what the problems are. When it's like, no, you're an immortal demigod and you have all this power. It's like, you're not very special anymore, are you? It's the reason I don't gel with characters like Superman or Wonder Woman. It's like
But even so, with Superman, he is still just a guy. He's not a chosen one. He's just a guy who was saved by his parents.
I know, but what I mean, I don't mean that. I mean that they're born with the powers and things. I prefer superheroes who get their powers. Or one day they wake, like mutants, when they just wake up with their powers one day and they're like, oh, what's this I've got to deal with? When it's characters,
I get you.
When it's characters who are born with,
I mean, Superman did have
I
to deal
am
with his
this.
powers.
It's like,
Yeah, I get. Right, don't be bringing Superman in here.
I'm not a fan of Superman.
I
He's
know
actually-
that's fair enough. I warmed to him as time progressed, but he is. The
Anyway,
powers
that's
don't
that's
but the
beside
thing
the
with
point.
Superman, the powers don't define him. Whereas with the Timeless Child, what they're trying to do is they're trying to
But
make
even
this
they don't
whole
even do
idea
that,
define
though.
the Doctor.
Because then, as you
And then
said,
they don't.
in
They
the,
don't commit to it.
in the future when the fugitive Doctor returns, and she's like, who have you been ever limited what you've been before? It's like, but if you're gonna introduce the Timeless Child, this has to fundamentally rewrite Doctor Who, which is one of the things I would say. One of my fixes would be, is that yes, if you're going in with the Timeless Child,
And there's no other
idea,
alternative.
you have to fundamentally rewrite everything you do from now on.
Everything.
In the way that New Who came back and went, oh yeah, Gallifrey, it's gone now. We've had a time war. This is our thread. And from Doctors 9 to 12, the effects of the Time Lord played on
Time
the
War.
Doctor.
You said
Yeah,
Time Lord.
Time War, whatever. From now on, with 13 onwards, if you're going to introduce a timeless child, that has to be our new time war. Everything you do from now on has to be a character progression from the timeless
Because
child.
you've introduced this thing which is undeniably a character changing moment. But for some reason in the actual episode, it's said to be this huge character changing moment, but it doesn't change the character at all.
No.
Other than make the Doctor willing to let an old man kill himself, which, okay, maybe the Doctor's just going to be an arsehole now. I don't know. We're going in circles here because no matter how much I try and explain the timeless child as a concept, every time there is something where it's like, okay, you do this instead, or it worked, or the chosen one kind of aspect worked here, or the immortal, or the kind of ultimate character worked here, etc. No matter how many of these options I try and pick out, the way it's done in Doctor Who, the timeless child, is just bad.
Yeah.
So so there's just no.
And another rumor
Leeway.
that there is that Rassilon is going to be returning next series, and they're going to find him on a planet that he fled to from Gallifrey because he had timeless child knowledge.
What do you mean
The
timeless
the
child
ru-
knowledge? You knew about.
The rumor is that he's going to be on a planet called Karn, which would you know? You'd know Karn from
Star Trek.
It's the place where the Eighth Doctor regenerates.
Yes, I'm with you.
It's a planet of basically mystics, and it was originally introduced in the brain of Morbius. Do you remember that episode? But the producers, being the Doctors that
Yes.
are now canonized, it was introduced in that episode, and then we've seen it in Capaldi era and the Eighth Doctor minisode, and that's basically all we've ever seen it.
Mhm.
But the rumor is that Rassilon is going to be on Karn, having fled Gallifrey. Well, technically, the Doctor banished him because that's what the 12th Doctor did. He came to Gallifrey and went, "Get off my planet." So Rassilon would have left, survived, and they're going to find him. And presumably the Doctor's going to go, "Well, why did you never tell me about the timeless child?" And the Rassilon will go, "Why the hell would I have told you about the timeless child?"
You'd be like, "What? Timeless what? What have you been on?"
What is that?
Yeah.
He flicks out his Series 12 DVD and goes, "Oh, I've never played this actually."
That is. Don't be trying to. Right. This is. If they are going down this route, it feels like they're very much. Let's just bring back old characters and have them explain it, and then that's definitely gonna be.
And it will legitimize it for the
That's what they
fans.
feel. But that is not how it works, because the writing is still being done by someone who doesn't seem to understand what Doctor Who is, which is very
Yes.
sad.
That's the big thing. I've just realized, trying to. Oh my God, we're half an hour in already.
There you go.
The big thing about the structure of this podcast is now, before we move on to the other rumors, because there are no more timeless child rumors. The big thing is to say is what is the big change we want to see from Doctor Who? What do we want to see the fix be? Because as we'll go on to the article shortly before we do the rumors, but the
Retcon the entire. If I had full control, I'd retcon the entire series. I'd just be like, whoop, parallel universe.
I agree. The big thing I would do is I'd say the Master lied.
But then the problem is the Master was good, so it still doesn't work.
I'd say the Master lied,
Mhm.
and this is a previous incarnation of the Master.
Perfect, bingo.
Before you let me finish my sentence.
Sorry.
I'd say it was the Master before Yana, and he's just making this up just to tease the Doctor.
Okay.
That has been my big change.
Mm.
But while that is going on, you're not going to drop that in episode 1.
I mean, just do one episode and just have that.
But that'd be your arc going forward. You've still got to have the Doctor dealing with it. And I wouldn't have the Doctor just go, "It's fine now, fam. La 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 la."
I'd also have a never say for the word fam ever again.
I'd have the Doctor in some sort of existential crisis throughout the series.
Okay.
And then it gets to the finale. Maybe Rassilon does show up. And maybe the Doctor's like, "I found out about the timeless child." And then Rassilon could be like,
You what?
or you could say it's something like a trap in the Matrix or something, that if anybody ever went in searching for the secrets of the Time Lords, it sent you off in the direction of the timeless child to distract you from doing like a fail.
Yeah, I'm fully with you.
It's like
fully with you.
firewall. Like you
Yeah.
can't ever.
Instead of saying there's nothing here, don't go looking, it's saying, "Oh yeah, you found it. here you go.
Yes,
And while
exactly.
just shuttling away whatever the actual reason is.
Yeah,
That I'm with
it's
you.
like
100%.
you could never, because like I said to you in the Deadly Assassin, a Tom Baker episode, he goes into the Matrix and
Yes.
ends up in this quarry and has a big fight with an assassin. And the idea of that is to be you can't go in there and find anything out. So if Rassilon showed up and was like, the Timeless Child is just a story, we put that in there so you can never get to the true origin of the Time Lords, which is nice because then that restores the mystery because it's nice to have them as this big, what are the Time Lords? I don't ever really want to know what the Time Lords are. Shobogans. So if you have
Gallifreyans.
if you have that, well, Shobogans is technically correct. That has been a
Shobogan. Toboggan.
I couldn't
Toboggan?
believe Chibnall brought that back actually because Shobogan is like an old classic Who thing, and I always thought that's a ridiculous name. And then in the Timeless Child when it's like Shobogans, it's like, really, you're bringing
But the thing
that
is,
back?
I'm guaranteed he just went on Google and was like, what were Time Lords called? Classic Who episode 82. Click. Oh, hello, Shobogans.
Shobogans. But yeah, that's the thing I do. I want the Timeless Child gone, but we've also got to deal with the Timeless Child. It's the best of both worlds.
Yes.
In that the Doctor's got to be in an existential crisis going, oh my God, my whole life is a lie, blah, 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 blah. But I'm still going to carry on what I'm doing because that's what I'm here for. And then by the end of the episode, finds Rassilon, and Rassilon's like, no, it's not real.
Just get over
The
yourself.
Master
It's
lied
all
to
right.
you. The Master lied to you. And then get a definitive placement where this Master comes in the timeline. Because we've only got the definitive placement from a Doctor Who annual that says he comes after Missy.
It's never said within any of his
So
episodes.
who reads an annual? Just get rid of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just change it. That's the big thing I want from the Timeless Child.
I'm fully with you there. It's instead of, it means that it's everything's still kind of canon with the Timeless Child stuff like that. Those episodes can still be watched, so that you're not losing them, so the money's not wasted there. And it also means that we're actually fixing what the problems were created by that. It all works, and it fixes the Master, which is an important part for me.
It still doesn't explain why the Master's crazy, and he will still be my.
You can just say he's been in, because that Master was like in the 1800s, and then he was in World War II. So that iteration of him's been through a wee bit. So maybe he's just kind of.
But he'd still be my second least favorite Master.
Who's your fully least?
The second version of the. Well, one I can't remember which one it is now, but one of the Crispy Masters. When he's all, there's two Crispy Masters when he's all burnt and horrible. One of them just plays it way too. I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, but he's my least favorite. Okay. And then it's Sacha Dhawan, and then it actually used to be that one, and then Eric Roberts, and then Sacha Dhawan. But now that we've revisited the TV movie, I actually think, although he's campy and he's more menacing and sort of scheming than Sacha Dhawan is, so he's actually gone up in my
which
ranking.
is impressive considering I dislike that Master.
Oh yeah, I can't stand that Master, but it's impressive that he's gone up in the ranking, isn't it?
Really shows you something.
So, really, if you're saying what was the point of the Timeless Child rant at the beginning of this podcast, it's just because we're saying these are the problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay if you want to deal with that, but you still have to get rid of it because it just fundamentally cannot work. It's not a cat and Ellis challenge.
Well, Helena Bomb. Sorry, we'll get onto that in a second.
Yeah, that's a completely different even topic. So,
I just read something.
Other rumours that we'll address now for series 13, and then we're going to talk about who's might be the 14th Doctor, and then we'll read that article. We can have a look at some filming pictures as well while we're here. So this is the big thing. Series 13 rumours. I did some research last night to try and find out what's going on because there's been loads of filming pictures.
He did the research. I watched 4 episodes of Doctor Who. I had it worse.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, absolutely you did because I watched some hysterical YouTube videos. But anyway, so let's begin with, there is a rumour that the Autons are returning. That has been a big thing, and they're going to be a
Who are the Autons again?
I mean, who are the Autons?
My brain's forgotten.
The plastic people.
Ah, yes, I'm with you.
Who are the Autons?
I forget the names.
There's a rumour that they're returning, but there hasn't been any pictures. Now, if you scroll down with me, George, here, can you see the pictures of the Sontarans?
Sontar.
I'll put them up on the screen for people watching. If you're
don't
not,
just put up a picture of like a dog.
If you're not watching and you're just listening, then either just imagine Sontarans or Google Series 13 filming pictures yourself.
That's a lot of effort.
Exactly. Well, this is the benefit of watching.
Interactive podcasting. It's a new
thing. That's the benefit of watching on YouTube. So there's the rumor that the Autons are returning, and there's the rumor that there are Zygons returning. But if you scroll down, you can see Sontarans, and beneath them are Weeping Angels. So in a series that has already been confirmed to have 8 episodes because of the reduced COVID count, that would mean 4 returning villains. Is that overkill for Series 13? Half the series with returning.
Yes, it is definitely. Maybe I'd say so.
I think so as well. It's nice to have.
If it is 8 villains, then it's like, come on. But if it's like maybe a 2-parter with 1 villain and a 2-parter with another,
Well,
then maybe...
there is a rumor that the episodes 1 and 2 is going to be a Sontaran 2-parter.
Is it going to be the Sontarans versus Weeping Angels? That'd be weird.
No, the rumor is that Sontarans are infiltrating Earth's history to study their battle techniques. So they go to basically all the most famous battles in history.
Well, you just need to go to I was going to say Shang Tsung then. The war book written by the war guy. What is it called?
Oh, I can't think. I know what you mean. Art of War.
Yes.
I can't think what the name of the bloke is.
Sun Tzu. No,
I think it might be Sun Tzu.
I think
Something like that.
something
anyway.
like that.
But anyway, the idea is that that's the plot. And episode 2 is rumored to tie in with an upcoming Torchwood novel, which means we might get Jack in it as well.
Lovely. I'm just looking at the pictures now.
Yes, that's just a little rumor for you. So I do think 4 villains is a bit overkill, but there is an alternate that the Zygons haven't been spotting on. The Zygons haven't actually been spotted on set, but their logo, like the symbol that they use for their tribe, kind of thing, has been spotted on something, which is why people have said Zygons. However, people have said it could just be that Unit are making a return, which is nice. But the thing, I don't know if you know this. In Series 11 of Doctor Who, it was confirmed that Unit were disbanded.
Okay. How was it confirmed again? Remind me.
They basically, it was a really cheap Brexit joke.
Okay.
And they said that now that Brexit has happened, the UN and the EU have basically stopped funding to Unit and they were split up.
That's very petty, but all right, I'm with you.
It was the worst, most frustrating thing I've ever known. So all these times in Jodie Whittaker's era when realistically Unit would have shown up and dealt with it, they haven't been there.
Because there was a line in Spyfall who was like, what about Unit? And then it's like, Unit's been disbanded. And I was like, oh, really? All right, that seems like a bad idea.
It's extremely frustrating that they did that, but maybe Chibnall has realised that everybody is really pissed off with that and is like, okay, I'll bring them back. Which, of all these Series 13 rumours, I'm quite happy about that one.
Yeah, no, it's good to bring them back. It shouldn't have been the fact they
shouldn't have been disbanded in the first place.
Yeah, but okay,
but
bring them back.
It's nice that you're bringing them back. So that's another rumour. So that's so other filming pictures. Let's look at these filming pictures now. You looked at the Sontarans. I'm assuming you've looked at the Weeping Angels. I'm not sure really what the plot with the Weeping Angels is going to be. Apparently,
a generic street. That's what I'm saying.
There was another scene where they were filming on a beach as well, but the picture wouldn't fit on the document. But there is a rumor. There's a rumor that we're going to see a CGI Weeping Angel flying.
How?
Don't like that.
How can we see a Weeping Angel fly?
The whole point of the Weeping Angels is that we don't see them move. So I don't like that.
With scary things, the moment you show us more, you need to be, you just the moment, right? When it comes to scary and horror and all that kind of stuff, the more you show us of the scary thing, the less scared we become of it because we then understand it more. It's simple, it's just how it is. The Weeping Angels, their whole scary thing is the teleporting, the fact you don't see them move, and then you're just done. If we see a Weeping Angel move, that's not scary because that's not why the character's scary.
No, and I like a Weeping Angel just floating like that would look ridiculous, but a Weeping Angel floating with its wings flapping would look even worse. That would just look horrendous.
I mean, isn't a Weeping Angel made of stone as well?
So that's that. If you scroll down on further, you can see 2 new aliens that have been spotted. It's unclear whether they're just going to be villains or just aliens, but let's presume they're going to be aliens. They're going to be aliens. Yeah, you've got Black Mask, and you've got some weird Nosferatu-looking thing.
What? Why is Ewan McGregor in this? He's not, by the way. That was just he played Black Mask in Birds of Prey.
Yes, we know.
Yeah, but my mum's listening to this. She'd have no idea. She'd be like, "Oh, Ewan McGregor."
Wow.
I've got to explain for her.
So, what do you think?
Alexandra
What do you think of these 2?
The 2 aliens.
The alien new things.
The first one looks absolutely boring. Second one kind of interesting, but also seems best buddies with the Doctor. So it's like, okay,
I think the Black Mask kind of one looks like a Marvel villain to me.
he can't.
If he showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy, I wouldn't bat an eyelid.
Yes, and also he seems like he's more of kind of an assassin.
Yeah, to be
Bodyguard
fair,
kind of
this
thing.
guy does intrigue me. There's some,
More than I like a new villain. It's
Yes.
interesting more than seeing.
especially
other
after we've
two.
had some really villains in the Whittaker era. That does seem quite interesting to me.
Yes.
The other aliens, to me, seem like they're going to be friendly aliens and not villains.
Yes, I'm with you there. They remind me a lot of the Baka Kakalaka.
Banakafalata.
That's the one. Those kind of people,
Yes.
kind of just
Or an episode like Chris Ferguson's Second when he's on the, watching the Earth burn and there's all the different kind of aliens
Yes,
there.
yes,
That's
yes. It's
that's
nice
what
seeing
that
some friendly
reminds me of.
aliens. That I'm good with. Good. Yes.
Yeah, they look to me, just from these two filming pictures, as if they're basically showing the Doctor around somewhere. That's what it looks like to me. The Doctor's arrived somewhere and they're going, have a look at this, have a look
Yes,
at
definitely
that.
on the second one, you've got one looking up, and then you've got the other one kind of doing sort of embrace, kind of hello, hey, and they're wearing relatively regal clothes. So I think she's gone to a posh party, something like that, or has
Yeah.
been taken somewhere regal.
I think so too.
See, look at that, detectives right here.
Yeah, this is what we're here for. We're addressing some of the things, giving you our theory on it. And then
Yes.
just go right down to the bottom. We can look at Yaz and whatever his name is now. I can't think what John Bishop's character name is. They have said
His
it.
name is John, isn't it?
Oh,
Pretty sure it's.
John Bishop, Doctor Who. So what are your thoughts on John Bishop being the new Doctor, being the new companion? Dan, he's playing Dan.
I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm not a fan of any of the new companions, and this is not helping me.
I'm not a fan of them doing.
Are they replacing any of the old companions, or are they just adding another one?
Well, Graham and Ryan have gone, haven't they?
Oh yeah, because they rode off into.
They saw the ghost of Grace. They saw Amazing Grace and disappeared.
Yeah. Okay.
So they've gone, and
So
it's just these two now.
Okay. Better.
I would have
Also,
rather.
Can we just have one?
I would have rather just Yaz, because
then you can
Yaz
develop that character.
because Yaz has had no development. But as you said in the Timeless Children, or whichever episode it was, Graham's going, "You're amazing, you've done so much," and we're all watching it going, "Has she? What's she done?" So it'd have been nice for in series 13 just to have the Doctor and Yaz together, and let's just give Yaz some development.
And also, it's good for the character development of both characters together,
Yes.
because the companions are great when you get to see how they are with the Doctor, rather than just how they are with the other companions, which is
Yes.
always boring.
But instead, we're going to overshadow her with the very strong personality of John Bishop. Now, I'm not a fan of John Bishop's comedy anyway. I think he's a decent bloke from what I've seen in interviews, but his comedy doesn't do it for me. I can't imagine him acting, and I'm not sure how that's going to fit the tone of Doctor Who. Because
I do hope his comedy doesn't translate into it, because it is too, what's the word, loud. for
Bradley
Doctor Who, I
Walsh
think.
translated, and Bradley Walsh was the best of a bad bunch. He
He wasn't
worked-
amazing, but he was the best
From
of
what
the
Bradley Walsh
three of
could
them.
do, and not ignoring the writing, ignoring what Bradley Walsh himself could do, he worked. And I've seen Bradley Walsh in other things where he's acted before, and he's been fairly decent. I haven't seen John Bishop act, and I'm skeptical how it's going to work. He could be amazing, but just seeing it seems to be what Doctor Who did in the late 80s, where they just basically got
famous people.
What they did was they got famous people, but specifically comedians and entertainers, to be in Doctor Who, to be like, they've got a big audience, let's bring them in. And that's literally what Doctor Who are doing.
It feels
right
very much
now.
like just clutching at straws. We're losing people, big name. It's all it feels
Exactly.
like.
That's what I'm scared about. He could be amazing. Don't get me wrong, he could be. But to me, it feels like very much like performance
Yes,
casting.
I'll hold out judgment for him until I see what he does.
But I'm
I am-
skeptical.
Yes,
I'm
I
not-
have more. I'm more wary than I am looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Unlike someone like when they released the mini-sode that announced Bill, and she was doing the whole, what's a Dalek? It's got a toilet plunger. It's got an egg whisk, that kind of thing. I was sold immediately.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't wait to see her in Doctor Who. From that thing of the clip of him when he's just unloading something out the back of a van, I'm not like, I can't wait to see Dan.
I love the name as well.
There's nothing.
Okay, Dan with your white van. We're gonna. Or they're doing a bait and switch and he'll be killed off instantly. That'd be quite interesting.
There's
Bam.
nothing that instills me with confidence.
If you're gonna do this kind of thing with a huge celebrity, it should I believe it should be just one special, like a special.
He would be a fine special companion, yeah.
But he should
But
not
I don't know
be
about series
permanent.
regular. Maybe, hopefully, if this is truly Jodie Whittaker's last series, it might be quite nice just to have him for one series and leave at the same time as Yaz.
I liked, Kylie Minogue in David
Yes.
Tennant's. I really liked her in the special. I don't think she would have worked as a series companion
No.
though. And that I feel the same way with John Bishop here. He'd be good as a special, but I don't think you should have the celebrities who. Because the thing with John Bishop, he'll overshadow the Doctor as well.
I think so, because he's got such a strong personality.
Yes, and the
that's what
accent,
I-
and it's very loud. And I feel like that's the worst thing you can do with a companion. Overshadow the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because it's called.
But if he does
stay
on with the next Doctor, let's have a look at who. Nice little segue there. Let's have a look who is rumoured to be the next
I've got
Doctor.
to scroll up now. He's really put this together badly.
Well, I was intending to do this in the order that it's in, but we've ended up going on a different track. But anyway. So there are some very random rumours for the 13th Doctor, and some of them are. I look at some of the names. I look at some of the names and I go, that's just not going to happen anyway. That's just the book.
Hell no.
Let me, before you interrupt me, man, let me say my point. There are some names I've looked at with these when I've gone, that's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
And it's been pretty much confirmed that it's going to be a woman. It seems that that's just what's going to happen. So when I look at list and it's like going, will Richard Ayoade be the next Doctor? I'm like, no, of course he won't be. And then it's like, it's 10-1 odds that Michael Sheen will be the next Doctor. And I'm like, great casting, but no, he won't. So these are the names that I've seen, and one of them is in there that they've denied it, but I think it's quite funny to address. Those are the names that seem to be the front runners, but I don't believe it's going to be any of these. So yes, the one you've mentioned twice already, and I can see you're dying to mention, is Helena Bonham Carter is rumoured to be the
Way
14th
too big of a
Doctor.
name.
Way too big.
Are they insane? Who wrote this list?
Was she not married to Tim Burton? Am I
Yes,
correct in saying
yes,
that?
you
There
are.
is no way
No
she
goddamn
is going to
way.
be the Doctor.
She's gonna. That's what? That is no way.
Absolutely not.
Way out of your league, Doctor Who. There, you are punching like 8
Yeah,
weight classes
you
above.
might as well put Meryl Streep on there.
Yeah,
right?
but that's
Like, it's just, no.
mental.
Like that's of course that's not going to happen. So that's one that I just think is just ridiculous. Another one that I think is ridiculous, and they've even interviewed him and said, "What is Ollie Alexander?"
I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a Google with the names.
Well, there's no internet on that. There'll be no internet on there because there's no internet in this room. But Ollie Alexander is from Years and Years, and as in the band, and he was in It's a Sin, which you never finished, by the way.
I need to listen. I got distracted. I will finish it. I promise.
But
okay?
he is Richie Tozier, the main guy in It's a Sin.
Gotcha.
And he had obviously in This Is Sin, they have that scene with Daleks.
Mhm.
So for some reason, somebody went, 14th Doctor, and Ollie Alexander's gone.
No.
No, it's not me.
That's very
So
much. That's very much how fans work. You've been near Doctor Who somehow.
Yeah, so that was another one that I just thought was ridiculous. Now, these last three names are all from Line of Duty. So
Hey.
that people have gone, Line of Duty's finished. There's big female characters in that. Let's see who it could be. Now, Vicky McClure is rumoured to be the Doctor, and she's genuinely one of my choices.
Vicky plays Kate.
Yes.
Yes.
We all know, yes. But she is one of my choices I would cast as a female Doctor, to
Now
be
that I've
fair.
heard this, I'm very much like, yes, please.
My mum, if my mum is listening to this, which I doubt, but
My
if
mum
she
is.
is listening to this, I'm not talking about your mum. I'm
And but
talking
my
about-
mum is.
talking
You
about
see.
my mum.
See, one up to
If
you
my
there.
mum is listening to this, which I don't think she is not a fan of Vicky McClure
Oh.
whatsoever. So if I said to her, I'd like Vicky McClure to be a female Doctor, my mum would say, absolutely not in a million years. But I do think that would be a good choice.
I really do like Vicky McClure, and I loved Line of Duty up until the last finale.
So that one gets my seal of approval.
I am 100% on board with that. That'd be great, actually, because she's a fabulous actor. She really is, and I think
And she's from Nottingham, so it would be nice to have a
Alright,
Nottingham
yeah,
accent
okay.
in Doctor Who.
that's a bonus. But I think the main thing is here, which I'm happy about it being a female Doctor, is the fact they're sticking with a female Doctor.
And not making it a gimmick.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sticking to your guns because it's the right choice. And it shows you that you're like it's good. It means you're not connecting the bad series with the fact it was a female doctor because they're
Yes.
completely separate things. But if you were to have a male
But
doctor now, it would,
It would be like, oh, so that didn't work. But yeah.
yeah, which
Another-
isn't true. But
another
I'm happy
name-
being a female
Another
doctor
name that
next.
it could be is Kelly MacDonald.
Who is?
Well, can't you tell by MacDonald that she's the Scottish one from the last series? Joe, was it?
Yes, I'm with you. Yes.
Joe Davidson. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. Joe Davidson. He
Yeah.
doesn't even watch Line of Duty. He watches it through Gogglebox.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he
they
knows
watch
the
enough of
actors.
it. They watch enough of it. I
Don't-
follow the plot through Gogglebox.
don't-
That's how much they watch of
don't-
it. I don't care about watching it in full. I just get the bullet points. So I actually don't think we're gonna have time to read this article now, but that's fine. Kelly MacDonald, what do you think about that? I don't really like that. She reminds me a bit of Lorraine, and I don't really like Lorraine. So
I don't. I think she was good in Line of Duty. I don't think she'd be a good choice for the Doctor, personally.
no, she seems a bit kind of timid. From what I've seen of her, she seems a bit kind of timid.
The thing
and
about
shifty
Vicky playing Kate is it's strong and there's presence there, and the Doctor is a character with a lot of presence in a room, and they control the room.
Yes.
I believe Vicky could be like, "Listen here, all right, I'm gonna save your ass. Get over it." Whereas with Kelly, I don't think it would quite. I haven't seen her play that kind of role before. And I'm not saying she couldn't,
Mm.
because I have, but I just haven't seen it before, and I think I've got more faith in Vicky being able to do it.
Same. And the last one is Anna Maxwell Martin, who played the sort of sour new boss of.
I forget her
whatever.
name, but
I
I'm
can't
with
think
you.
what her name is, but you know what I mean. The one who just shows up on crime scenes and is like, "Let's do this, that," and it's like, "Oh, shut up."
I mean, I'm not
Presence
opposed to
is
the
there.
idea. Yeah.
Presence is there.
And she's a good actor. And I haven't seen much of her because she wasn't in Line of Duty that much. But
But I believe.
I think she could play. I think she could play it well. So if it were Anna or Vicky, either of those, I'd be like, okay, good choice.
And she
either
would
one
be,
could work, I
am
think.
right in saying she would be a actor who has played a role in Doctor Who previously.
Who did she play?
Well, we did it on this podcast. Do you remember Suki in Long Game? Who at one point you said, "Why do I look like Suki?"
Oh,
So she has been in Doctor Who before.
what? Wow, they're the same person.
Yes. Obviously, she's aged a lot. She's
No, but-
aged
but
in
it's just-
16 years, but
Wow. Well, yes, because she looks like me. Yes, I'm voting for. Wow. Yes. 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 I'd say because I've now that I've seen her play that kind of character in Doctor Who. Now that I remember that, that's a range. That's a range there, isn't it?
Hmm.
So I think.
I do think if I had to pick anybody off this list, from the realistic ones, which is just those three names, Vicky McClure, I'd be very happy with. But if Anna Maxwell Martin got it, I wouldn't be opposed.
I'd be happy with either.
yes.
Personally, I'd probably prefer Vicky because I've
Same.
seen her more, and I'm kind of a like. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I know her from other things as well.
Yes.
So
But between the two, either or is great,
Hmm.
and I'd be 100% on board. And like, that's actually exciting. I hate it when rumors get me kind of excited because I'm kind of like, damn it, I'm going to be disappointed, aren't I? But it's like either of these, I'd be like, yes, because I haven't had this feeling of being excited for a Doctor in a while.
But I don't think there's really going to be time to read this article now, but I'll just pick some points from
Okay.
it. Because what this article was really interesting, and I would have liked to have read it, but whatever, is it's talking about the rumour that Jodie Whittaker is going to quit, and it's talking about how that's actually going to be quite disappointing for her Doctor, but how it makes sense. Because it's saying she's been on the show since 2017. She's had the least amount of episodes of any new Who Doctor besides Christopher Eccleston. She's not had a chance to flesh out her character, and she's basically been failed by the BBC. That's the point of this article from The Telegraph. But it's saying, after the Timeless Child disaster, it does need a refresh. So it's saying we need her to leave, but it's a shame that she is. And I very much agreed with that sentiment. And it's talking about, there's a thing here, it's saying it's not Whittaker's fault, she's an amazing actress, but the Doctor that she's been given, says here, Whittaker hasn't been given a chance to flex her talents in the way that Eccleston, Smith, Capaldi, and especially Tennant were. Saddled with too many companions, 3 full-time sidekicks, not to mention guest stars including Captain Jack, the 13th Doctor often struggled to make herself heard. She spent too much time breathlessly explaining stuff to too many people, spouting plot exposition, and as an authorial cipher. Chibnall hedged his bets by having 2 male and 1 female companion to ensure gender balance. This merely meant 4 characters competed for camera time, and none of them were fully convinced. This is all stuff that I
agree with 100%. I'm with
completely
you.
agree with. He does go a little bit telegraphy here, but bear with.
Oh, God.
The 13th Doctor's adventures were often flat, worthy, and woke, often starting promisingly but soon disappearing up their own space-time continuum. In the midst of mediocre writing, Whittaker was unable to carve out a strong identity. She was neither frightening, fierce, nor funny like previous incumbents. Yes, she had warmth and fizzling energy, but that wasn't enough to fully flesh her out. Instead, she was made slightly socially awkward and needy, forever talking about friendship, trying to make her fam catch on, cracking corny jokes and straining to be down with the kids. It's like a lack of confidence in the character becoming female found its way into the uneven writing. She was made tomboyish and surrounded by men, so her femininity didn't scare the horses. Unfortunately, all this achieved was to drain her of originality and dilute Whittaker's undoubted charisma. Fully on board.
I agree with you because I agree with that because they didn't embrace the character being a woman. It's like they half-assed that, and it's like, then it was just, yeah.
Exactly. This is the big point about what it's another fix for us to say what we want to see from series 13 is. Yes, it's nice to have these villains and continue the Timeless Child plot, but I do think it should be Whittaker's last. I don't think she should stay on any longer because we need a refresh.
I think Jodie had more. She had so much more potential. She did, but
as we've said in the Witchfinders,
yes,
the Witchfinders is an episode that proves how strong that Doctor can be.
I really enjoy that episode. I really do. But with Jodie, she's got potential. She had ways. She could have done so much more. She could have done, but she's just run out of time. And if she does more episodes, it is the time to go. And it's sad, but you're just out of time. And it's especially what we're saying, just as we've just said about the Doctors just then. It's time to go. Yes, you're right. Most Doctors, all New Who Doctors, obviously besides Chris Roxton, have done 3 series. That was pretty much the standard through the classic series as well, to do 3 series. I believe it was even Troughton, who's the 2nd Doctor, who said, do 3 years, then go. So that's the standard thing. She's had 3 series now, but it's just a shame that we haven't got the Doctor that she could have been. And I think by having her deal with Timeless Child in her series 3, rather, as we've said, as a plot thread before then revealing it wasn't true anyway, is a good way to actually give her some existential development. And then by giving us a female Doctor, as we've just discussed then, you're not making it a gimmick. And it will sort of make Jodie Whittaker worth it in the long run. And you can still have her as the groundbreaking first female Doctor, and it won't feel like it's a forced decision that's wedged in from the ham-fisted writing that we've had. And I think actually, if you do what we've said today, which is the point of this podcast today, is that the legacy of the 13th Doctor in the future will be much more positive. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I can't really add more to that. This is why I thought this article was really, really interesting read, because I read it and it was just nailing things that I couldn't quite put into words. Yes, it phrases, it's obviously they're a writer. We're just blurting our mind. It phrases what you're trying to say. Written by a man called Michael Hogan. So obviously he is a very good journalist here. But yes, carry on. It puts into words what we can't quite express succinctly. There was a line in this as well that said, many Doctor Who devotees expected Whittaker to stay until the 60th anniversary special in late 2023. Now it seems she might well be hanging up her blue culottes, rainbow striped top, and sonic screwdriver 2 years early. Jodie Whittaker has done her best with an undercooked role during a dodgy era for Doctor Who. She has been likeable, inspiring, bravely heroic, and a good role model for young girls. Sadly, she's been badly let down by her bosses. If she is quitting earlier than planned, it's a shame, but I can't say I blame her. Something that we've said before that is sort of overshadows the Doctor is the constant churning out of 10th Doctor era material. Time Lord Victorious is full of 10th Doctor material. All the adventures are full of 10th Doctor material. Comics are full of 10th Doctor material. Even the 13th Doctor's official comic run had the 10th Doctor in don't get me wrong, I love the 10th Doctor, and I think he's amazing, but you can't be selling us on what was, because otherwise I'm going to jump on and I'm going to be like, what the f- is this? What are you
Yes.
showing me?
It's like, are we in the wrong era here? I'm not
You
sure.
need to be in the outside stuff, the extended universe. You need to be selling me on either the what's to come or what is happening, because you need to sell me on that, because I'm going to then come and watch that. Don't try and sell me on what I've previously seen. You can have old characters come back, but you can't be focusing on the past, because that's gone. And I don't want you to tarnish that either.
But it seems that if this rumor is to be believed, and I definitely take this some with a pinch of salt, is that the series is going to end with more 10th Doctor oversaturation by having him cameo in the finale, which would tease the 60th anniversary special.
How's he? Okay. I mean, okay. Am I supposed to be sad about that? Listen, okay, yes. I will say I don't. I
And
can't
the rumor,
lie.
the rumor,
I wouldn't mind having David Tennant back because I love him so much, but how much of a role are we thinking?
well, it will be
theoretically.
apparently the insider rumor,
Mhm.
whatever that means, is that David Tennant is going to be the only returning Doctor in the 60th anniversary. So it'll be presumably either Jodie Whittaker and David Tennant, or the new Doctor and David Tennant.
Mhm.
And his role in the finale would just be a tease, probably like the way the War Doctor was teased in
Yes.
The Name of the Doctor, where it's literally John Hurt turning around. It comes up introducing John Hurt as the Doctor.
Or like at the end, it'll just be kind of like the TARDIS shows up and he just opens the door like, "Oh, hello there," in like
It'll
a
be
Scottish accent for some reason.
Allegedly something like that. But the thing
Yes.
is that I don't understand about this rumor is the anniversary special is 2 years away.
Mhm.
And yes, there are big gaps between the series now. Jodie Whittaker's first series was in 2018, second was in 2020, and it's looking like her next one will be in either 2020, will probably be in 2022. So it's 2 years between series now.
Mm-hmm.
So if this does air in 2022, then it's like, come back next year. That actually does kind of make sense. Because it was 2018 was a series, 2019 was a one special, 2020 was a series, 2021 has so far just been one special. So if 2022 again is series, then 2023 will probably be one special.
Which is slow, but
which is 6 years.
it does
of Jodie Whittaker.
does fit in with
It
the
does,
timeline.
yes.
This rumor.
But definitely take this one.
It feels like it's. Cause the problem is when you name a big name like David Tennant, and you're like, they're coming back. I'm like, I don't believe you as far as I can throw you. But
until there's an announcement.
yes, exactly. But if I think about it, I'm like, I wouldn't mind having David back. I wouldn't mind that. But why?
See,
but why can't they bring back someone else as well? I mean, why not bring back Capaldi? And I know Capaldi said he never wants to do it again, which is incredibly sad. But why? It feels
the thing is that
like we're putting all our chips on David Tennant.
That's the thing. As much as, again, I like the 10th Doctor, yes, he's aged now and really doesn't look like the 10th Doctor anymore. But I don't like the oversaturation. And this is, I don't know if you watched the video that I sent you, but it's basically saying this isn't Chibnall's fault. This because the way the BBC is run, there's like a marketing thing and then a separate thing. And it's all done by separate departments. And the extra Doctor Who content isn't run by the same people who do the TV series, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that department who are going, 10th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 10th Doctor. You remember the 10th Doctor, don't you? Here's the 10th Doctor doll. Here's the 10th Doctor this. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. If then the TV series is going 10 as well, it's like, am I in 2008 again? Like, what year am I in?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was in the 13th Doctor era. I wanted 13th Doctor era stuff, but instead you're just slapping me in the face over and over again with the 10th Doctor. And it's like, yeah, I did that 11 years ago.
Bringing back a character like the 10th Doctor, it worked for the 50th because it was kind of like nothing's happening. Boom! 10th Doctor's back, baby. It was like suddenly, But the problem is with doing all the extended universes, 10th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 10th Doctor, there isn't really any time for us to be shocked by this.
No.
It's just like, It's not mind-blowing
It's
thing.
like the 10th Doctor's back. And it's like, kind of like, well, yeah.
It's like if in the MCU they brought Tony Stark back, but in every other movie they were mentioning the fact Tony Stark might be coming back. Or like in the comics, it was a constant, like, he could be alive. It's like, there's no...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like there's an
big
example of that Marvel kind of did when it's... Oh, I don't know. I feel like there was a thing where somebody was basically in a bunch of films, and then the next one was like, they're back. And it's like, yeah, but they never went away. I feel like...
It's that kind of... Yes, it's that kind of feeling. Well, they never went. It's
Yeah.
It's a bit too quick, but I'd right, I'd like David Tennant back. I would. I'd love that. But the problem is, it doesn't really feel like he ever left. So I feel like if we're gonna have him
No.
back, if this
You've
is
got
true,
to make it. You've got to earn it and
Yes,
make it worth
and
it.
this will probably should just be his last time and make it a big bang. If you're gonna have him back so soon, make it a big. That's
Yeah,
what I
that's the
think.
thing. As much as I would like him back, I'm sort of like I'm a bit fatigued by it. The way it feels is a bit like they're rebooting a film that only came out a few years ago. That's the way it feels. It's like, I don't know, let's think of a film that's, I don't know. Let's say it's something like, let's just take my favorite film ever, Logan, for example. It's like Marvel just went, we're doing a Logan reboot, and it's like,
It's like the next film they just had Wolverine back, completely
Yeah,
different actor, and it's like, no.
but doing essentially the same thing.
Yes,
They're like, going, let's just do Logan again, and it's going to be called Logan, and he's going to be old. It's like, haven't we just had that? It feels a bit like I would much rather Matt Smith to come back, or really, 'cause now he's doing audio stuff. Let's get Christopher Eccleston back.
that would be. See that, boom, that would be incredible. Getting Christopher Eccleston back, do that. Then okay, done. Do that.
But like you said, my ideal thing for this would be get every new Who Doctor back.
The fact we haven't had that makes me very, because in the 50th it was like War Doctor was going to be Christopher Eccleston, then he became John Hurt. Amazing replacement, but I would love to have Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, Capaldi, and Jodie Whittaker, and then maybe even the new one. All
Maybe not.
okay, yeah, all right. But having the new Who Doctors, or at least the ones we couldn't get in the 50th anniversary,
Back.
would make this something special.
Yeah. Another thing, and also, if you really want to go crazy, get David Bradley, first Doctor. Go for it. He'll be
Yeah.
more than willing to do that.
Why not?
Rhys Shearsmith played
Get
Patrick
the Eighth
Trout
Doctor back.
in An Adventure in Space and Time. Rhys Shearsmith played Troughton. Some people weren't happy with that, but I thought it was actually very good casting. Get him in. And as much as he says he doesn't want to do it, get Sean Pertwee to play the third Doctor. He's been asked a million times, do you want to do that? And he said no. But I think
Give him enough money.
give him
he'll
enough
do
money
it.
and he'll be like, where's that frilly
I
scarf?
will never play the Doctor, but if you give me enough money, I'll play anyone you want.
I would like do the first. This honestly what I would do for the 60th, because it's the 60th anniversary. That's a mental milestone, even bigger than 50th. So go even further out and get all your new Who Doctors and the first 3 Doctors. The other 4, 5, 6, 7 a bit complicated. It'd be a bit random for 8 to be there as well. As much as I'd like him to come back, but it'd be a bit awkward to get those Doctors because
Yeah.
you'd probably have to get either replacement actors or de-age them, and I don't think the BBC definitely doesn't have the budget for that. So that'd be another thing I'd say to do. But whether or not
And we're theorising about having all these Doctors, and okay, cool, great. But if I'm going to be realistic, I don't want to oversaturate it with all the Doctors. So honestly, if a part of me would just like one back. Like
No,
either
but
all
I
new
think,
ones.
but I think you've got to
you got to go big.
you've got to step up from the 50th. You can't, because the 50th is already the peak. So it's like you don't want to do the 60th and go, oh, it wasn't as good as the 50th. You want to go, oh my god, that was even better. And the 50th, I'm saying the 50th already set the bar high by having those 3 Doctors back, and then obviously bloody Tom Baker walks in at the end, and it's like you've sealed the deal here. So how do you top that? You get even more Doctors,
Do a 2-parter so you can have the room for even more Doctors.
or just do a feature length. That's what the Day to Doctor was an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, well then just you don't like. Okay, yes, more Doctors. I'm fully with you there, but it's just got to be written well, so it's not like Doctor. It's got to be this Doctor's here for a reason. I think
obviously.
I think a good way to step this up above the last one. Well, like this won't seal the deal, but by having Christopher Eccleston back, that'd be a
It'd be a big talking
huge
point.
selling point.
Yeah.
That was like getting Paul McGann back for the webisode.
Mm.
Would have been nice to have him in the episode, to be honest. But that kind of thing, it's a boom, it's a drop the mic. Like John Hurt as the Doctor is like, yeah. It's. I think it'd be a strong choice.
Yes. So that is it from us.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go.
You want to go? That we are, for everybody that has listened to this, all 3 of you, thank you very much. We are done with series 1 of Exterminating Doctor Who. Bear that in
Yes.
mind, series 1, because we will be back in September. I think we shall return with series.
I like how he looks at me as if I'm supposed to answer
in
that.
series 2. Well, I'm just thinking. Series.
oh.
We'll be back in September for series 2, where we are then going to switch this around. Instead of doing the bad episodes, do they deserve a second chance? We're going to do the best episodes and what makes them so good. And are they actually maybe overrated? That's going to be our little spin for next series.
Yep.
So please do return for that. If you are waiting for that, subscribe to this channel, please, that you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to this channel. If you're not subscribed to this channel and you're listening on Spotify, still subscribe anyway, Aidan Gula Media.
But also follow us on
And-
Instagram.
There, that's the other thing I was about to say. And follow us on Instagram as well to keep up with our regular posts.
EDW News. Every day, every day. Every day, every day, every day.
Every day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
No, EDW_podcast is the Instagram. So have a look there. Also, as we just wrap this one up now, we are going to be doing a Batman podcast in between this and the net. In between series 1 and 2 of this. So again, if you are wanting to be, if you're a Batman fan, you go and tell me more about this. Again, subscribe to that channel, follow the Instagram because we'll post about them there.
Or if you like it, you just want to hear George ramble about Batman because you've been enjoying the little teasers, come and give us a listen because I'm going to be helming that one. We'll be swapping places.
We'll be swapping places if you can still use this room. So yeah, that will be called A Night with the Dark Knight.
It's a very good name.
Thank you. So, so we'll see you then. Thank you for listening on this Timeless Child journey. And goodbye.
See you, everyone.